So this is Bill Cates again on Referral Coach Radio. With me today is Kimberly Foss, CFP, CPWA, which is Certified Private Wealth Advisor, if you're not familiar with that designation. Her website is KimberlyFoss.com, and she's not only a very successful advisor, which we will talk about, but also an author. Her book is Wealthy by Design. So, Kimberly, welcome to Referral Coach Radio.
Well, thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So there's a couple things I want to talk about. The first thing is referrals, obviously. I read an article in Financial Planning Magazine, and where you talked about you didn't want to look like I guess you said, used car salesperson when it comes to asking for referrals, but you wanted to be proactive. You've been able to make referrals work for your business. So, take your time and tell the listeners what you're doing to make referrals work in your advisory practice.
Ideally, you want to get referrals that are like your A-type clients. I remember one of the techniques that I learned when I was at Mother Merrill in my early days was you had an A, B, and C book. And so you want to have, obviously, your best clients and replicate them as best as possible, which is, you go to them directly and ask them. However, what you first have to back up is, what is your niche? What are you looking for as far as referral is concerned? And build that profile out. For me, like women in transition, specifically, I'm looking for women who are widowed, were divorced, or have sold their practice and need help in transitioning their wealth into the marketplace, into their portfolios. So that's very specific. They know what a divorced person is. They know what a widowed person. And then secondarily, I want to also make sure that they know my specific minimums. So, and I'm not shy about that. Typically, they won't maybe not know that about their referral, but I'll tell them, this is not for you. Don't worry about that. I'll flesh that out, and if they don't make my minimum, then I will have an alternative for them. So it leaves everybody in a very positive space.
So you're doing what I call pulling back the curtain in your practice a little bit. So with these clients who like you, they see your value, you have this engaged relationship with them, you're being very clear on how to identify people that you serve, knowing they may not know the person's financial situation, but it's worth an introduction. And how do people respond when you do that? A lot of advisors think that's kind of self-serving, but I think there's more to it than that.
There is, because what I tell my clients, I put them in the position of being my front and center and my most important valued asset right there is them and how I can serve them better. So what I do is I bring them into the fold and I said, it's really important that, unfortunately, I don't control death, and so I haven't mastered that one yet. So I'm losing clients not to attrition, not because they're not satisfied with my service or performance. It's that, they're getting their phone call from heaven. So until I can master that, I really need to have replacement. I need to have clients that are replacing those who are passing on. So therefore, I would like to replicate you. You are my value-add client. You are my poster child. I love working with you. I love our interactions, and I'd love to have other clients that look like you. But I don't want, and I'll be very clear about this, I don't really want clients that are going to be very, very high maintenance, because that takes time away from you and I. And while I do have to grow, we want to be efficient and we want to be intentional in our growth. So I'm bringing on 3 to 5 new clients per year, $3 million or more, and I want to kind of have them look like you. So do you know of anyone that may be interested or perhaps may want a second opinion on their portfolio? And I would do that service, of course, for free if that might be the case. So I said, I explained to them that they're very, very important, and that we're being very intentional here. We're not just trying to take every Tom, Dick, and Harry around the corner.
Right. And even though your numbers are different, your minimums, the number of clients you want is different from anybody listening, the principles are the same, I think, to have that niche, to be clear who you're trying to attract, help people be able to know that and see that, so then they'll think of you, and you're very transparent about the whole thing. That's great. All right, so the first step then is being clear on your niche and being clear with your clients. What else do you do?
Being clear with your minimums. You know, and also you can provide props. You can, you know, give them obviously a business card, a brochure, or more importantly, I think, you know, find out a little bit what's going on. We're just about to do a women's expo on Thursday, and so we're putting together a specific packet that really sensationalizes us. We just got Women's Choice Award at USA Today, and so we put that award in there. I put a brochure that basically speaks to women only, and I put that into the packet. We're doing a second opinion, so we did a little flyer that says, look, you know, we're giving second opinions on, you know, women-based portfolios. So this is really all catered to them. So you know, use props, or use, for me, I have a white paper, Suddenly Single, and it says, you know, how divorced women can gain from financial independence. You know, if I know someone who is referring me that's divorced, recent divorce, you know, I'm going to send that out in the packet. Something that will resonate with them and feel like they actually have a connection with you. And that's the key, I think. If people feel like at some level in that first 15, 20 seconds of either looking at your brochure, or perhaps like going onto our website, I'm on television quite a bit, so I'll have something that maybe will connect with them. They can see me, they can hear me, they can hear the enthusiasm. I may say something in regards to divorce. They are connected. When they feel that connection, Bill, that is the key. You're kind of like, boom. You are connected. You've got your foot in the door. Now you can actually go in and talk with them a little bit more, because they're going to be open to your niche or to your expertise.
Right. My listeners are familiar with me using the word engaged. Who gives referrals? Engaged clients, people that feel engaged with you, and that's obviously connected. They know your value, and there's a little bit of a business friendship there. So, do you come right out and ask your clients for introductions to specific people or referrals? Are you a little softer about that? How do you make those happen?
No, I mean, it's in the course of the conversation, but what I do try to do that every single time I'm meeting with the client towards the end or in the course, it's in the back of my mind. I also put on my personal, we always have an agenda for the client and for ourselves. So on my personal one, I'll say, you know, ask, you know, referral or something that will trigger me to kind of intertwine that into the conversation. And so usually will come up in some way, and I'll be direct about it. Say, you know, we are, just so that you know, that we are looking for some selected clients that would like to come on and come on board and work with us. And being that you're my poster child, I'll joke about that or what have you. You know, we're looking for these specific, and then I'll go into if it's women in transition or encore client, which is 40 to 60-year-olds in their second careers, or pre or post retirees. So yeah, I'm very, very candid, very direct about it, because I want to engage my client in feeling like they're actually helping us to all succeed. Because, you know, no one can control death. I mean, look at Joan Rivers. I'm devastated still. But, you know, no one can control that. So there's no shame in asking for referral, or I'm not trying to do something that I wouldn't bring value to another client. And if you are doing well with your client, if you are servicing them, if you are paying attention to them, if you get back to them, it's not really about necessarily performance. People want to know that you're basically have their best interest at heart and in the front lines, above and beyond all else. If that's happening, they're going to want to give you a referral. You just have to ask.
Good. And how do people react when you do this? I mean, I assume not everyone gives you a referral when you ask. Anybody ever get mad at you, or you know, what kind of reactions do you get around this?
No, usually I'm very, you know, people really want to be helpful. They really do. And most of my clients are very positive. If they don't know somebody off the top of their head, I just say, you know, keep this in mind in the event that someone maybe, let's say it's a widow, someone that may be going through what you have. You know, just keep it in the back of your mind that that's what we're here for, and we have that white paper or we have that book or what have you, just like we did with you. So just keep it in the back of your mind. And it's just kind of that gentle reminding them every time. So some clients come in 3 times a year, some clients come in semi-annually, some only annually. But you always want to just keep that in the back of their mind, because when they do come across just like it in social media or what have you, they're going to think of you. That's what you want to be at the top. You want them to think of you at the top of their head when they see a widow or divorced person or Encore or what have you, whatever your niche is. They got to think of Kimberly Foss right away. Oh, you know what? Kimberly did that. Right. Okay, let me just refer you.
So you've had people where you didn't get the referral at the time, and you just said keep it in the back of your mind, and then later they're out about doing their thing, and they think about you, and so you've had the phone ring with prospects, I assume, and you've had clients.
And emails. So interesting enough, I'll get that just out of the blue, but because I'm constantly doing that and constantly putting in the forefront of their mind, they're basically conditioned to, obviously refer me when that person comes along, whether it be, 2 weeks or 2 months down the road. And you do the same thing with professionals as well, CPAs and attorneys and insurance folks that, you got to keep them in the forefront of their mind because people have, it's like the media, it's 3-minute syndrome, right? They forget you in 3 minutes.
It's true. So before I shift gears to a related but slightly different topic, the power of a niche, of a market, I know that many financial professionals resist that for whatever reason. Maybe they're concerned that if they just focus on a particular niche, they'll miss other opportunity. Because I tell them that they'll be so successful in that niche, they won't even know that they've missed other opportunity. But to anyone who's reluctant to narrow their focus a little bit, what would you say to them?
Get over it. Get over it and get a niche, because let me just tell you, doing this for 30 years, when I started out 30 years ago, I'm the same way. And you know what? In the beginning, maybe you do have to take everybody. But there is no way on God's green earth that we can be everything to all people. And what makes you an expert and credible is the fact that you do become an expert in one or two fields. The key here is, though, is that you need to make sure that you're going to be an expert in a broad enough field that it covers so many different layers, on a sub-layer, on a subsurface level. So with women in transition, that could cover a woman who was also what I call an encore career, which means that they've been displaced out of the Great Recession from their first career and they're going to their second because they don't have enough money yet to retire or they're too young, 40 to 60 years old. So you could have, vertical or horizontal marketing in there for those different levels. But you have to have some type of niche because that makes you the expert. Right.
So I'm talking with Kimberly Foss, KimberlyFoss.com, CFP, CPWA. Kimberly, and author of the book Wealthy by Design, I should say. So let's shift a little bit, because you talk about being an expert, and in my opinion, experts write. That's something that experts are thought leaders. They distill and share knowledge. Even if they're not a thought leader, they are good at communicating things. And I've always encouraged financial professionals to write some of their own things, whether they go and write a book like you did, or even just some white papers, some reports. Whenever they send something, compliance approved, of course, to a prospect or client with their name on it, it carries more weight than if it was just something, produced by the home office, so to speak. Talk to me a little bit about the value in writing and how that's made a difference for your financial business.
Well, like I said, being in this business for 30 years, and it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I actually wrote the book. It is a phenomenon to me that makes it's bizarre, but it is real. That once you become a writer or book author or even blogging, all of a sudden somehow it carries a higher credibility weighting to it. Just like being on television. All of a sudden when I'm on television, it was like somehow I'm smarter because I'm on television. I have no idea. But writing especially, when that book hit the markets last year and then it hit the New York Times bestseller, it absolutely elevated my practice to a whole different level. I was getting requests to write it for Wall Street Journal, for Barron's, for Financial Planning magazine. Now I'm a columnist for that. it brings in all other opportunities, which of course those opportunities get you basically your name out there nationwide on a more regular basis. And clients see that as, for whatever reason, very, very credible. I think because you have to know more, right? You have to be able to speak intelligently in a writing fashion and know more. So I think it only adds value, unless you really can't write, and then you can also get a ghostwriter. You really should either blog or have a white paper done or something on a regular basis, LinkedIn, Facebook, what have you, but something where you can actually communicate what your value add is on a regular basis, because that gives you a presence in the media, and that goes a long way for secondary credibility when clients are looking to look at different advisors and what makes you different than the next advisor down the street.
So you really kind of led to my next question, which is the media exposure you've gotten. You have an advisor sitting in their office, all their business is local, and they're hearing us talk about writing. Okay, yeah, maybe I could do that. And then all of a sudden there's this media attention. You do a regular program on the local Fox channel. You've had national media attention. I think you called it credibility marketing. So it sounds like that's something that you didn't really pursue, but it's the natural outcome of writing and being the expert and people perceiving that expertise and then wanting to tap into that. Is that true?
It is. The first opportunity that I was able to write for was I was in the CFP. Still am the CFP media program. It's a free program. Anybody can join it. If I understand, I think there's some criteria that you have to be in business for a certain period of time, and also make sure you have, obviously your credentials are clear and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I remember writing for a little thing about the sandwich generation. And it got picked up. It was the original source was financial planning. I wrote about the sandwich generation. It got picked up by the Associated Press, and it went viral. And I went on. I was on Good Morning America called and said we want to do a segment on you, like within 4 days. So they came out. We did a segment. It went nationwide. Then the Today Show, Rush Limbaugh. It just was, it was bizarre, and that was back in, I think, 2007, if I remember right. So that kind of helped launch the writing, helped launch the TV career as well, and it's just kind of exploded after that. So if you don't do anything else besides, obviously bring value to your clients, you should write somehow. Blogging is really easy to do.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you got to get in the loop with compliance around that, do you not?
Of course. You have to, if you're an RIA or if you're for a brokerage firm, and
right.
you need to make sure that the compliance is up to date, of course.
I found that once one's in a rhythm, and you get in the rhythm of submitting things, and then you probably submit to the same person, they get familiar with what you write, and everything probably gets a little smoother and easier over time. So with me is Kimberly Foss, CFP, CPWA. Her website is KimberlyFoss.com. That's Kimberly Foss, and her book is Wealthy by Design. So the book Wealthy by Design was written for the consumer, if you will, correct? Do you ever have clients want to give the book to other people as a way to introduce you? Because I would imagine that might be a pretty good introductory tool.
No, it's excellent. And actually what I did on the launch, too, is I ended up giving five books to each of my clients that wanted them. And it was, some of the clients gave them to a list, and we actually got the list from them, and we actually sent it to their clients as a gift and said this was an appreciation this is from so-and-so as a gift. So it really made the client look good as well. So, but it was also good for us. And I do offer that. I give the books to clients whoever they want, now that they want them. But it's just a real good, easy way to kind of have the clients get to know, or the potential clients get to know me a little bit, because in the book, it does talk a little bit about my background, that kind of thing. So they get to know me a little bit before they walk in, so they feel, again, as you would say, engaged. before they even walk in here. But also, it's been picked up by advisors as well, and universities as a teaching tool about the 5 steps to wealthy by design.
Nice.
Two universities have picked it up, and then internationally, advisors say in Germany are a little bit behind the curve than what we are here in the United States, and it went international, and the advisors in Germany are actually using it kind of as a template of how to do the 5 steps for advisors there to help their clients as well.
That's great, and probably it started with a seed of an ideal a while ago, and then it's just blossomed to this whole thing. And I think anyone listening to this should check out your book. I think it'd probably inform them and how they impart knowledge to people. They may find this is a great tool to give to clients as a thank you or prospects as a warm up, perhaps. So it's Wealthy by Design. So Kimberly Foss, thank you so much for being with us on Referral Coach Radio today. We appreciate your time and your willingness to give back to the industry.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants a copy of it, I'd be happy to autograph and send one to you. Just if you want to email me at my address, and of course refer that you heard this through the show, and I'd be happy to send anybody one book.
So a Friends of Bill Cade's book. Right. So
there
I guess they just go on your website. Yeah, well, thank you. So KimberlyFoss.com, and then they hit the Contact Us button, and they can send you a message. Is that the way it works?
Yep, and refer that you heard this on the show.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Have a great day.